Jesus said to them, "You justify yourself in the sight of men, but God knows your hearts, for what is of human esteem is an abomination in the sight of God." What is of human esteem is an abomination in the sight of God. In a very real sense, if we want to put it in other words, that we who want to please people but not tell them the truth and love them, it's an abomination in the sight of God. Because we want to be thought highly of, we want people to think we're cool or whatever we think we are or not. But we don't tell them the truth, and we don't love them to the point that they can repent. You see, Jesus did not read the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. He never read that book. As you read Matthew's Gospel, or Luke's Gospel, but especially Matthew, he is constantly barraging the religious leaders, and he's telling them things that they hate to hear. Jesus did not come to please people. He came to please the Lord. Let me tell you what it takes in order to please God. It takes courage. It takes courage. Not caring where the chips fall. It takes courage to say the things that need to be said and to do the things that need to be done. It takes courage. And I want to tell you, my experience is that a lot of men lack courage. A lot of men lack courage. I often think that people like the bishops should be watching The Wizard of Oz and see which one they identify with. The lion. Courage. And it's true. They lack courage. You want to know why? For many reasons. Our money, our tax-free number, which I pray is taken away from us. And the second thing, they don't want to be thought badly of. Well, you know what? For what is of human esteem is an abomination in the sight of God. That's the way it is. We just had an election. And a man that was elected, first of all, we know nothing about him, and second of all, the first thing he's going to do is sign something that will erode everything that has been done on life. Everybody will be able to have an abortion, and you'll pay for it. Happy birthday to you and me too. Not wonderful. So, what did the bishop say? Not much. Not much. Human esteem, you know what I do to human esteem? Spit on it, because it doesn't make a difference. No, I'm not so pure that I don't look for human esteem. But you know what? It doesn't really matter what people think about us if we're loving and we tell the truth. It really doesn't really matter if people reject us, if we care about them, and that our life is to lead people to Jesus the Lord. It doesn't really matter if they think that I'm the greatest thing in the world or I'm the slime of the earth. Because if I'm doing the will of God and doing the things I need to do and saying the things I need to say and caring for the people that I need to care for, then you know what? That's really what matters. The other stuff really doesn't matter. This courage is something that, honest to Pete, it's been lost. What will people think? Well, I'm going to tell you one thing. You cannot monitor people's minds. You haven't got that power. And neither can I. People will always be thinking. When I do good things and when I do bad things, people will always be thinking. That's it. So let them think. As long as I have my eyes fixed on Jesus and I'm doing the right thing. That's really what matters, not what people think. Because that's what gets us into trouble. The Pharisees couldn't stand Jesus because Jesus was the Father's man. And Jesus did what the Father told him. And Jesus ended up on a cross. He ended up on a cross because he challenged the status quo. Jesus never left Judaism. He died a Jew. And he rose a Jew. They wanted no part of this man because they valued the temple more than they valued the Lord. Why? Because Jesus said when he was on the Mount of Olives, as he's looking down into Jerusalem, he said, "Not a stone upon a stone will be left on this temple, because you failed to realize your visitation." That's what Jesus said. But the Jews were listening, that people were calling Jesus King and Lord. They were calling him King and Lord. They couldn't deal with this, and as a result, they said, we better give up one man than for the whole country to be destroyed. Because if Caesar hears that there has another king in Palestine, he'll close the temple. That's why you read John's Gospel, John 11 and John 12. We'll close the temple, so we'll give him up. Well, let me tell you, they turned over Jesus for the temple. In the year 70, the temple was destroyed, not one stone upon a stone. When you give up Jesus Christ and you don't speak what's real, it's an abomination. But that's a hard word. People don't like to hear that word. It's a word that makes me cringe. You're an abomination, my Lord. But that's what he says. And that's what he means. And he means what he says, and he says what he means. And we need the grace to be men of courage and of love and of compassion. We need the grace to be able to speak the truth, not in any way that's looking down upon people, but looking eye to eye. We need that grace to confront people and to speak to them and to let them know about who Jesus is, that he is the healer, he is the Lord, he is the one who can put us together again. We need that grace to be bold, to be bold. And you know what? Boldness is a good gift. I'm not saying to be like a bull in a china shop. I'm saying, you know, when something needs to be said, I say it. Not to put a knife in somebody's back, but because it needs to be said. That's simple. So many missed opportunities. Why? What will the priest think? Or what will the he think? Or what will the bishop think? You know what? Let them think. Let them think. As long as I'm respectful, as long as I'm saying the things I need to say, as long as I'm not trying to hurt people, as long as my eyes are fixed on Jesus, I can ask for the grace of courage, and that grace will give me the ability to say the things that need to be said, when they need to be said, and how they need to be said. I'm not going to tell you I'm ivory soap, I'm 99 and 9/10% pure, I'm not. We all err, but I will tell you, even if I err, and I do many times, let me tell you, it's much more important to tell people and love people than to just let them go. Whatever it is, whatever it is.